Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area with an injury update from Kyle Shanahan on Monday following his conference call. He did have some bad news about Tatum Bethune, the linebacker who suffered an MCL strain during the game. He will miss some time, probably several weeks. The one we were all wondering about, though, Nick Bosa, that hip oblique injury that he strained on the opposite side of the one that has been bothering him for the last 2 weeks. Still dealing with some pain, but could play on Sunday. I asked him specifically, is there a chance that Nick Bosa plays? And he said yes. Although he is in some pain, Nick Bosa did seem a little bit more discouraged or pessimistic about whether he would play on Sunday or not. And, we'll see what happens this week. I doubt he practices and he'll probably rest up a lot. We'll see what happens. Good news for George Kittle. He should return to practice this week. He's dealing with a hamstring issue. He should be back. Kyle Shanahan said he was really close to playing in Sunday. I think he would have made a big difference on the offense, but he will be back this week, probably set to play in Sunday's game. Jacob Cowing is still in the concussion protocol. He hit his head in a punt return, kind of ran out into the field like he was going to be on in the huddle on offense. Obviously, a little woozy from that. So we'll see how he progresses throughout the week. Renardo Green, who had a finger injury during the game, is fine. No news on that. Brock Purdy is dealing with right shoulder soreness. So not sure when it happened during the game, but he is dealing with some soreness. He is day to day. Likely he will be fine, maybe a little limited in practice. Um, Kyle Shanahan did not think that it affected his play during the game, though. So, Travarius Ward, good news is that he is back with the team. He did do a few workouts with Dustin Perry, the head of strength and conditioning. So, he could be back for Sunday's game. They're going to see how he feels, see how he's moving after having a couple weeks off after the loss of his daughter, Amani Joy. Um, Kyle Juszczyk, no further. He cleared the concussion protocol in the game, so he is fine. Still no news about Dre Greenlaw, whether he will be back. Kyle Shanahan seemed to be more positive that they would open the window for him following Green Bay. Not sure that he plays in Buffalo. I just don't think that they open up his window and put him in a game where it could be very cold. I think it would have been much better for him to play in a game like Tampa, where it's warm and the muscles and tendons can have some heat to stay loose. The possibility of getting warm for a game and then sitting on the bench while it's cold could be a risk factor that maybe they don't want to take. Obviously, these are professional athletes, but I would just think that going back into a first game after an injury like an Achilles would be better to do in a warmer climate. And maybe that's, the home game after they're in Green Bay and in Buffalo and they return home and play the Chicago Bears. So maybe that's when he makes his return. But it did sound like they would open the practice window up after the Green Bay game. Um, Trent Williams, ankle injury, still dealing with some soreness. Kyle Shanahan said the Toradol is wearing off, which is really painful. He battled through the game and he was really happy that he did because Jalen Moore, swing tackle, could have played. He was up for the game, but what if something happened there? There was no one else to put in if he did get an injury when he went in for Trent Williams. Um, Takeaways from Kyle Shanahan's call is that the penalties really, really just made the 49ers offense stop and stutter and not get into a flow, especially that one drive. He said 14 plays. I guess some were nullified because of penalties. So he said 14 plays. In the stats list, it is 11 plays, and they went 26 yards. Penalty after penalty in that game, and then moving backwards, one step forward, two steps back. I've never seen a drive that lasted 7 minutes and only was 26 yards and ended in a punt. It's incredibly weird and unproductive. I did the PFF grades, and that's going to go up shortly on NBC Sports Bay Area, so definitely check that out. But I'll give you some highlights or lowlights as it is. 9 missed tackles in the game, which is a huge reason that the 49ers were unable to stop the Seahawks. Yetur Gross-Matos, first return back from being on IR, gets his first sack, but misses 2 tackles. Other guys that missed tackles, Sam Okawanu, all missed one. These are all who missed one. Sam Okawanu, Renardo Green, D. Winters, Robert Beal, Deommodore Lenoir, Fred Warner, and Devondre Campbell all missed one tackle. Yes, they all only missed one, but that's nine total. D. Winters, though, did receive the highest grade on the defense because of that one catch that he broke up, the one pass that he broke up. He received a top 85.1 grade on coverage. Um, Not a whole lot of pressures per se when you look at how many guys were out there on the defense. Leonard Floyd was the top of pressures. He had six, he had two sacks. Now, PFF doesn't count half sacks, so every half is a single. So two sacks, one hit, and three hurries. 17 pressures overall. Eutorus Gross Matos got three. Nick Bosa three, Malik Collins three, and Sam Okwano two. So not a whole lot of productivity for some of the guys who were out there in correspondence to their snap counts. So Nick Bosa wasn't out there for very long. He generated three pressures. Um, yeah, not a great day there. Uh, Brock Purdy, though, looking at his passing chart, he almost all of his throws were in that 0 to 10 yard range. His normal sweet spot from that 10 to 19, he was only 3 of 6 from 10 to 19 yards out from the line of scrimmage. Usually he's better than that there. All those close passes, though, 17 of 19 there. Was more successful, but that is also where he threw his interception. As far as pressures allowed, Trent Williams allowed two hurries. Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Dominic Pooney, and Colton McKivitz all allowed one. So six total pressures allowed by the 49ers offensive line. But the defensive line did get 17 pressures on Geno Smith. I really do think that it's penalties and it was just sloppy play by everyone on the team. So they need to get those things cleaned up. And from what Kyle Shanahan said, the mood in the building is that they are all pissed off about the loss and how they played. So um, they got to bounce back from this. They've got to play better going down the stretch, and it starts in Green Bay, and that is this week. It's going to be a tough one. It will be cold. It's been in the 40s and 50s, so not freezing like it could be in Green Bay, but it's not going to be warm. As far as the run game, Brock Purdy was the second rusher. 40 yards, 19 were after contact. Christian McCaffrey, 79 yards, 53 yards after contact. Christian McCaffrey, second game in a row of over 100 yards from scrimmage. But, it was Juwan Jennings who was the star of the show. And then after that, no other player received more than 27 yards. So Christian McCaffrey, second highest receiving yards, 27 yards. After that, it was Juwan Jennings, the star of the show. Um, you know, Caught almost every pass that went his way. And I mean, just it sucks for Juwan Jennings having these standout games and then not getting a win. Juwan Jennings, 10 catches, 11 targets, 91 yards, and a touchdown. He was too upset to talk after the game, which is unfortunate. But most players were not happy about talking, of course. Um, it's this group is disappointed, and they should be because the most of the core players that were there in 2023 when they went to the Super Bowl are back. Um, it's just they're playing sloppy. They're getting penalties. They are missing small details. So they've got to play cleaner. And it's been on special teams. They had a muffed return that didn't thankfully end up as a turnover, but they got to play cleaner in all three phases. We'll have Tuesday will be off, but I'll give you another update somehow, some way. We'll figure out something to talk about, and hope you guys enjoy Monday Night Football. Maybe at least the Dallas Cowboys will lose. Then we'll have at least a little consolation there. All right, everybody, happy Monday, and we'll talk soon.